Hi guys, welcome back to Fragments of a Simple Life, where every video I make is super simple. And you're probably wondering where I've been. I am literally on my phone. This is my shower curtain. I'm like hiding in my bathroom. I know I disappeared kind of the past several weeks, and I kind of want to just tell you what's going on in my life. Um, I'll start with what's going on and then kind of go backwards to tell you the quick story time as to why. Um, I have to move at the time that I'm making this video. It's January 11th, and I am literally getting keys to my new place on the 15th and moving the weekend after that. So I'm days away from moving out of the place that I have lived in for 4 years. Like, my son took his first steps here and everything. My son will be 5 next month, so he doesn't remember living anywhere else but this place. And we always knew that we'd have to move one day, but we literally got slapped in the face, like, never saw this coming. So, to go back and kind of share like why this is happening, my husband and I are debt free. We follow a financial plan written by a guy here in America named Dave Ramsey, and he um, teaches you how to become debt free. Like, he's a financial expert. He has his own radio show. I think it's a radio show, not a podcast. I think it's a radio show. And he's written lots of books and been on TV, and he's a millionaire, and he teaches people how to be debt free. So my husband got a hold of one of his books and started kind of getting into it, and we wanted to find a way to become debt free too. At the time that we decided to start following along with the steps, they're literally called baby steps. And at the time that we decided to follow along and do the Dave Ramsey plan, we were living in an apartment. So part of the Dave Ramsey plan and the baby steps is to eliminate credit card debt and like any car debt, medical debt, student loan debt. Like, I think you start with your smallest debts and then work up to your biggest. It's kind of how what you're supposed to do. And if you don't own a home already at the time that you start your baby step process to becoming debt free, don't buy one. Because then you're just giving yourself more debt, right? With like a home loan. So you're kind of like defeating your purpose. So wait until you're in a better financial place, meaning debt free, then you can save up, and then you'll be, ready to save up for a house or buy a house. So my husband and I are debt free. The house we're living in is a rental. We've been here for 4 years, like I said. We're in the middle of saving up to buy for a house. That's the next step on our process. Um, and we have like a year left to save up to buy a house. And our plan was to go from this place there's like a mirror right here, it's distracting, was to go from this place to owning a home without having to move again. Like, my daughter goes to school right down the street, like it's walking distance. And my son is going to start kindergarten next year. We're hoping to enroll him in the same school. We're hoping to buy a house in this same city, hopefully near this school, so both my kids can keep going to the same elementary school. Like, we had a lot of plans and wishes and things that we were hoping for in our head. But 2 days after Christmas, 2 days after Christmas, we get a notice from the owner of this house. Like, the way that it works in the state I live in is, if they're like canceling your lease basically, or what it's called termination of lease, it's different from like an eviction because when someone terminates or like cancels your lease, you didn't do anything wrong. They just like want their property or this house back. So we didn't do anything wrong. We didn't get like evicted. Um, this is just literally a termination of lease. So 2 days after Christmas, she gave us our 60-day notice because when you're not being evicted for doing anything wrong, they have to give you a longer period of time to get out. That's like the law here in California. So she gave us our notice 2 days after Christmas. You have to get out. I'm not renewing your lease. She was like, it's nothing that you guys did. Like, I need the house back for like family reasons. Like, something's going on in um, the owner of this house, like her family. We don't know all the details. Um, but yeah, that was December 27th, and today is the 11th. So when she told us that, we had 60 days, right? So we have until February 28th to get out. That's when our lease actually ends. So, talk about a whirlwind. Okay, so this is what happens. We talked to her on the phone. You know, we have to get out. Okay. Um, I cried for like 5 minutes, like anybody would when they find out they're losing their home of 4 years, the place that they've called home for 4 years with their children. I cried for a couple minutes and then I just sat down, grabbed my phone, and started looking for other places to rent because we're still saving up to buy a house. Like, we're not ready yet. And the market here in California is a seller's market. So, someone sells their house for like 385,000, let's say, and they're getting like 410, 415 because lots of people want to buy a house and there's not a lot of house inventory here in California. So that sucks for us. So not only do we not have everything we want saved up for a down payment, yet we need like one more year. Um, Even if we did have the money for a down payment, our real estate agent is like, I would still probably tell you to just freaking wait for a year and see what happens, or at least 9 months and see what the housing market looks like then. So we don't have a down payment, and our real estate agent was like, the housing market sucks anyways. It's not good for if you don't need to buy a house right now, don't buy a house right now. Wait, like it couldn't get from a buyer's perspective, it couldn't get any worse than it is right now. So we're like, oh, super great. so, um, so like I said, I cried for about, was going back to December 27th. We got the news, we have to move. I cried for like 5 minutes, got on my phone, started looking for places to rent. I found this place in the next city over, a place that we're very familiar with. It's actually the city that my husband grew up in, and it's a city that I grew up like adjacent to. So it's 15 minutes away, 12 minutes away. So I find this house, I find this address, I write it down, I write down the phone number. This is the same day we find out that we have to leave. The next day, because it was Sunday, like Sunday, it was 2 days after Christmas, it was the end of our Christmas weekend. Like, really messed up, you guys, really messed up. So, especially when you know you didn't do anything wrong and the owner's telling you that you didn't do anything wrong, but get out anyways, horrible. So, I find this place, I write down the phone number. I had to wait until the next day to call because so it was a business day on Monday. I called and they were like, oh, we're doing tours of the house today if you want to come see it. And I was like, oh, what are the chances? That's so great. So I go to my husband because he's working from home because of COVID. And I'm like, can you take a tour with me of this house at 4 p.m.? And he's like, I have a meeting. I won't be able to go with you. And I was like, okay, well, I'll leave my son with you. Just plop him in front of the TV. And I'll take my daughter so I can get a second opinion because she's older and more opinionated. So that was the plan. So then I'm literally leaving. I'm pulling out my car. This is serendipitous, as my mother in law would say. This series of events that I'm explaining to you feels very like meant to be in some weird way, and I'm just going with it. So I'm pulling out of my garage to go tour this house with just my daughter, and I looked down at my console, and my husband had left his wallet in my car. So I was like, let me jump out real quick and go run in and give it to him. Because if there's an emergency, he needs his wallet, he needs his ID. Like, I don't want to drive away to a different city other than where we live, and he doesn't have his driver's license with him to go somewhere in case of emergency. So I jumped out of the car, left my daughter in the car in the rain, and I ran back through the garage to give my husband his wallet. When I did that, my husband was like, wait for me. This meeting is ending earlier than I thought. Like, I'll be off of this phone call in 3 minutes. So I was like, holy crap. And my son was like having a pajama day because this was like one day after we found out we have to move. So we were like traumatized and lazy. So my son was in the pajamas. My husband's like, wait for me, I can come. My daughter's in my car by herself. We all get ready. We all go into his house together. We all like it. Um, it worked out. So my husband and I, the next day. So now we're 48 hours after we found out we have to move. That because we found out we had to move on a Sunday, and now we're on to Tuesday. Okay, so literally 48 hours later, my husband and I decide to apply for this house the way that you have to when it's a rental. Um, and then like an hour and a half later, we found out that we got it. Like, yeah. And then we filled out the lease to rent the place for 1 year, put our security deposit down, and we get the keys on Friday. Just like that. Freaking crazy. Um, yeah, so in 48 hours, we went from we have to move, oh my gosh, what are we gonna do? This is freaking nuts. At least we have 2 months to find a place. I can't believe it's happening. This is our worst nightmare. To we have a new place, lease signed for a year. We're only moving one city away, about 12 minutes away from where we live right now. Everything's fine. We're gonna be fine in like 48 hours. So bizarre. So we called the owner of this house and we're like, hey, you know how you gave us until, you know, February 28th? Well, do you mind letting us out of our lease early because we found a place already? And she said yes. So um, we have until January 28th to get out of this place, but we get the keys to the new place on the 15th, and we hired movers for the 17th, and our plan is to be done here on the 18th because she said the owner of this place said for every day that we get out of here early, she'll give us our money back because we already paid January rent. So we're like, okay, let's try to get out of here as fast as possible because obviously something is going on in the life of the owner here that she needs this house back really bad and like as fast as she can. Like she's willing to lose rent money from us and she's willing to give us our whole deposit back to get us out of here to move someone from her family, maybe even herself, we don't know, but to move someone from her family in here because someone needs a place to stay really badly and really quickly. We just don't know who or why. So, like I told my kids, it's really sad and we can't believe it's happening. And I think it's all happened so fast that we're in shock. But I told my kids, I was like, everything happens for a reason. Look how quickly and easily we found a new place to live. Like, I do believe that the universe plops things into your lap as they should be sometimes. And I feel like I don't know the why. You're not always going to know the why, but I feel like we're meant to move right now. This is meant to happen. I don't know why. I don't know. I don't know. I don't have to know the why. I just have to, like, every piece of this very strange, bizarre puzzle that I never knew was going to happen, like, kind of fit into each other, like, so perfectly that in my mind and in my heart, I'm like, we're just supposed to go. Just roll through it because this is supposed to be happening. So that's what I told my kids. And on top of that, something's obviously going on in the life and in the family of the owner of this place um, that we're probably helping somebody that we don't even know by getting out of here. And we are now back to finances. We are now financially prepared enough for a moment like this where we're not losing a lot of money and we're still on track to hopefully, fingers crossed, be homeowners by this time next year. So, it's a speed bump, it's a hurdle to jump over, but it's not like a roadblock or a brick wall in front of my family's face. So, with all that being said, oh, and on top of all of this, both of my kids went back to school after winter break, Christmas vacation. So, and they're going to school at home on the computers. Plus, my husband's still working full time from home. So, guess who is packing and packing and packing like 90% by myself? Packing for a family of four with a crazy person. So, I literally wanted to take a time out to make this 15, almost 16-minute video and just tell you guys where I am and apologize in advance because I don't think I will be making a video um, for probably the rest of January, to be honest. Um, I have to do this move. I have to get us settled. I have to try and make this random house feel like a home for my kids. And it's, I'm grateful and like depressed at the same time. It's a lot, and I'm not in the best emotional headspace, but I'm going from one roof over my head to another roof over my head without wondering where I'm gonna live, and that's the greatest blessing ever in this whole situation. So I'm not complaining too much. I'm moving from one cute house to another cute house, and the house that we're renting, um, it's bigger for not a lot more money. 2 stories, a whole extra bedroom, like I said, just gotta go with it. It's all happening for a reason. So, I'm sorry in advance for being gone. I will be gone for a little bit longer, and hopefully, you guys watched all the way to the end so you can find out why. Thanks for watching, you guys, and I will see you on the other side of this move. No guarantees on what date that will be, but I promise you I will not go too deep into uh, February without posting a video. I will get back to you. I'm not leaving my channel, and I appreciate all of you. I will be back as soon as this move is done and I unpack some boxes. Bye, guys. Thanks.